Hello everybody and welcome back to Hyper Light Drifter. If you remember from last time, we pretty much cleared out everything in the eastern area except for the final 3 major module boss door, minus a few secrets we can't just get quite yet, and we'll be back for those. I want to talk in particular about a few things this time. First is my fancy new outfit, which we got by finding it. It was a secret held behind a key door. It makes my energy come back faster. That's energy from dashing and from using my big sword swipe attack, which we got at the end of last time, just like that. Second is, I'm working on a bit of a challenge this time. My friend Skippy Granola suggested a good way for me to up my ranged use might be to studiously avoid having a full ranged attack meter. And so I will be working hard to avoid that. If it ever gets full, I'm going to try to empty it. And watch this here. I normally take a couple hit points damage, but boy, those guys go down fast and easy. And the third is, I want to talk a bit about the structure of this eastern land. What we've seen is it was clearly a beautiful and well-maintained temple area, and it has fallen into disrepair. I thought I could jump down there, but no such. And what we can see is the enemies really appear to be of two groups. There's these overgrown plants, and it's hard to say if they're an invasive species or if they were always here. And the second are these kind of bandit-looking amphibians. Looks like the ones with the rice farmer hats on appear to be sort of a traditional bandit ninja type stereotype. And the frogs maybe look like they're either doing research or are coveting and carrying away those flames for some other reason. So I wonder if the real story of this eastern area isn't a prosperous area overrun by bandits where wild plants are now taking over. That's just my kind of take on it, and see if you think that as well. One thing to notice, I got that big wind-up attack last time, and I particularly got it because it's useful on bosses. However, in this section here, you can kind of stand back and let the enemies take away and kill themselves a lot of the time. Notice there's always a different death animation for if you kill enemies with the big wind-up attack. That's just a neat little detail, I think. They get beheaded, and you take off their heads in usually one swipe. So it looks like some kind of experiments were being done in here. Perhaps, I don't know, I'm not really sure what that explosive purple stuff is. It doesn't look like the bandits brought it necessarily. Perhaps the flame was being refined into plasma or something like that. I think there's a way to get this passage to open up top here, but I think you have to open it from the other direction. And it's hard to tell if that skeleton was in there before the invasion or after it or what. There is, incidentally, a different kind of sub-story told by each of the regions, so that's something we'll want to keep an eye out for. Now notice I've got full ranged attack meter here, so that's not quite following the challenge, but I do try to use it ASAP. I didn't want to fire a bolt off into nothing just to do it. This game does a really good job with framing, as in it really, you can learn a lot about an environment just based on its setup. Like, it felt really odd to me that there were no enemies here, because clearly this is a big arena with cover that's meant for a battle. So when you go north and come back down south, you know, you find your expectations were fulfilled. Now that I'm looking for the flames, I sort of start to see them everywhere, and it makes me wonder how many of those I missed. There we go. The passage opens up if you head to it up north. Can't believe I still got hit by one of those things. even after dodging away. Spread fire ones are tricky. So we could open up that passage like we were about to, or head through the secret area there. That's our third key, so we're not doing too badly. Notice there's that guy up there, but I don't know if I can quite get a good angle on him. I think I'll leave him for later. Get wrecked, skeleton. What the heck are in these big tanks, huh? I mean, did the frogs throw the stoats or whatever they were in there? Who knows? This first area really loads you up on quick ranged enemies, and those aren't particularly tough to get the rhythm of. You need to advance on them basically while they're firing at you, and so you need to zigzag your motions a bit so that they miss you, because if you just run at them normally, they're very quick to jump back and jump away. They're very good at that, and that's where your drifting comes into play. Notice that situational awareness there. A big swipe does in, I think, any enemy no, a big swipe will not do in those big jumping plants, the biggest ones. Now, here's a 3-key door, which is coincidentally the exact number of keys it's possible to have at this point. Well, you could go north rather than east and have more keys, I think, but whatever, you see what I'm saying. And because of my bad tactics, I'm done in, but here I'll show you that there is frequently a mid-level checkpoint. And that is so nice. And this is why I don't really accept the criticism that there's just 2-3 checkpoints in the game. Along with, as I said, the fact that every checkpoint is really an opportunity to go back and do that bit of the level better. Now, I'm doing pretty well here, and that's a consequence of being very mobile and prioritizing targets. Those jumping shuriken guys basically always have to be first because they're just so quick. They can always get to where you are and offer another line of fire. Now look at that there. That could easily fool you if you're not looking. But yes, that is a disappearing floor. The game does a really good job tutorializing what you come in contact with while keeping it fresh. More of those algae tanks, whatever they were. I wonder if they held something first and now they've become clogged with that algae, although it kind of looks like they were growing it for that. What are these big wheels meant for? You know, I paid for the big swipe, and I'm not actually sorry that I did it, but in general, when you're just fighting low-level enemies, a bunch of small swipes is really a better proposition than one big one, just because, I think as was mentioned in the thread, enemies can sure hit you in the time you're taking to load up a swing. So here's a little southerly area. It's good to search for health packs. You generally get enough as you go along, but you also want to find everyone they offer you. Now, we already unlocked a way back up there, which does leave you wondering about what this one is. Oh ho! Yes, we've got our third from final, I believe, major module. That's right, we only need 2 more now. One we get for free for taking on the boss of the level, and then there's an additional one which has some further item requirements and things like that. And you know, as I've said many times, they are not shy about making later levels, or making parts of the same level, much more vulnerable the second time you go through. The problem with this is that dang bridge, and I probably could, if I was savvy enough, find a quick way to motor myself across. But there's just so much punishment from those ranged guys. See, even there I took a hit. That's okay. I really need to heal myself. I don't want to lose that kind of battle. But, honestly, if I was just playing on my own and not for the LP, I probably would have dashed across and just got cut to ribbons, so, you know, I'm improving my gameplay a little bit. Very nice. Yeah, hitting them once with a short-ranged attack, and then you know, again when they're farther away, that's a pretty good proposition. So there's just a little bit more to accomplish up here. Honestly, the first time I played through this game, I completely missed this top area. I think because I didn't have all the keys ready, and I just forgot that that 3-key door was there to even come back from it later. I had to like look this up on the wiki. Now these melee enemies are really where the big swipe shines, and so when we're in areas later where there are tougher melee enemies, that's really where you'll see the most use out of it. I think I mentioned also, I mean I got it because it's good against bosses. These auto turrets will be the bane of your existence sometimes. They are invincible. And not particularly smart, I mean they're very avoidable, but still, you know. Cover is very important when fighting these enemies. I keep trying to be to not see that explosive barrel, although it got him too, so, you know, that works out. Cover is important, and so is speed. Oh. I kind of like that one. That's a good thing I left that heal box there. I kind of like this one, I guess it's water-topped tile or something like that. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's a little variation, and I approve of that. I thought that might have been a lily pad you could step on, but no such luck. The first time you play through this game, you're going to get an awful lot of jumping into pits and off walls and just looking for secrets. I have no idea how I didn't fall to my pain there, but that's fine. Down farther, which is the area we saw earlier, so nothing for it but to move on. And we have made it to the Pinnacle. And we're trying to break all the pinches. The camera work is understated in this game, but it really does a good job. You need to not be fully committed to landing every sword swipe, you know? You need to be able to break off when you need to and run away. Now in this area, it's important to remember that these little plant guys explode, as you see there. Apparently not all the enemies were load-bearing. Although I do kind of dislike that they... I don't know, that enemy hit me from off-camera, but that's unavoidable, I'm sure. I did better than those stoats who got their heads put on pikes, that much is for sure. So this looks fairly impressive, like we're approaching a place of some significance. And 3 guesses what's beyond this door. You know, it looks kind of fairly imposing, and that's like the original architecture. Ooh, look at those skinned skeletons. Ugh. But, you know, I do wonder about the structure of Stoat Society, if it was peace-loving, or if they had their own kind of problems going on there. Well, sometimes a little fight works out for you. And with that, I will be able to get myself a grenade once we're finished here. Yeah, look at this. And this really does make the amphibians seem like almost nomadic trappers, which would be fine, except that the stoats also seem to be fully sentient, so that's a little unpleasant. Easy to miss that switch up there at the top, but this is the kind of game where you want to fully explore before you go into place. Oof, those blood trails, man. However, we have our second pillar here. There are translations for these pillars, and I think I'll probably post them in the thread. They weren't available to me on my playthrough, but that's just because I wasn't a cryptographer and I didn't sit down and, figure out the translation for all of them. So why not? I'll give that to all of you. Okay, there's nothing else for it but to do it. We're going to take on Big Toady. You get a preview of what every boss is. If you can always meet a character who tells you what to expect, more or less. And what we saw was a hulking monstrosity, so be ready for that. These narrow areas, with the camera following you, that really builds an anticipation. I'm just going to be quiet. Oh man, that is some good... I hope you have your headphones on when you're listening to this, because that theme music is just so impressive. So the deal here is he spits out the little plant guys, and if they explode while he's touching him, then he trips and falls and you get some free hits in there. Obviously throws the jars, so he's at least some kind of sentient. He's like half plant, half toad. And having my big swipe just makes this fight not trivial. If you approach him when he's throwing those guys, he'll pound you down. But what can I say? Not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm ready to go for 1716. And we're gonna roll. The way it goes with these boss fights, besides giving the 3 pennies at the end, is either they go quickly or you just get murdered over and over again. We'll see that for some of the later bosses. This guy, I think, was a bit more about looking impressive. He shakes the screen, he jumps all around, but his actual discrete attacks aren't that many. As long as you keep your distance. Now, watch this. Seems important. And indeed, every block that had a easterly pointing arrow on it is now going to be lowered for us in the future. Look at this cathedral stained glass in here. Anyway, like I said, he would punch you if you got too close when he was throwing his jars. And you had to learn, ooh, look at this. We got us the shotgun now, ladies and gentlemen. That will see some serious use in the next chapter. I'm going to go north next, I believe, so we'll see what's going on up there. But yeah, if you kept your wits about you and didn't get too panicky with Mr. Toad's Wild Ride or whatever, then it, like you saw, really wasn't too bad. Here's our major module. Grenades, unfortunately, don't do a whole lot of damage to bosses, so it wouldn't have been that useful. Always have to be looking for secrets in this game, of course. Please continue to point out secrets I've missed. I'm going to have a little secret bonus roundup at the end of a chapter. So everything I've missed, I will hack together and put that out. But I think that is the main thrust of this 1/4 of the map. We've got all the modules, we know where they are. There's one more out there that I believe we need a different item to get. We'll be back for it. But that completes this 1/4 of the game. So let's head back to Central Town. We will buy ourselves a grenade. That's going to be my next upgrade. Incidentally, after this grenade, I am much more open to suggestions. So if anybody has something in particular they would like to see shown off, I'll list all the possible upgrades that we can get, and I'm happy to go with what you like. So I would be interested in hear what your take is on the story of the Eastern Side, if you agree with me. And Nigoroth also suggested that's where I got the original idea from, that it was a place overrun by bandits and plants, and you know, who knows what came first. Maybe it was a bandit group. That's one of the blocks there that was lowered. Maybe a bandit group led by that big old toad came in and set themselves up, or maybe the toad was a regular toad who somehow managed to grow off of that alchemical flame. Who can say? Yeah, please keep looking for that. Suggest different upgrades for me. We'll go north next, and we will see what they have going. I won't spoil it for you. Look at how awesome this penguin is. That is an awesome penguin. And now we have a grenade, which is valuable indeed. Also, next time I believe we're going to be wearing the purple outfit, which increases our dash. And that is that for this update. So thanks for watching. I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me. I just love playing this game. I have to tell you, the first time I played the game, I probably died to the Toad boss 3 or 4 times before I got him. That's just, you know, in no way the worst of the bosses. I died to another boss a whole bunch more, and we'll discuss him when we get to him. For now, we are kitted out. We have our new cool sword. You saw how much damage that big swipe did to the Toad boss. It was really worth it. And as soon as I'm going to wait till the grenade upgrades, whatever you want to say, and just toss one of those out. They come back on their own, and look at that huge radius. Oh, they're so nice. They're so valuable. I will be using them a lot from now on. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys next time on Let's Play Hyper Light Drift.